From deep in the Burbank Media District, it's time for another edition of My Burbank Talks, presented by the staff of My Burbank. Now, let's see what's on today's agenda as we join our program.
Hello, Burbank. Craig Sherwood here with you once again, along with, of course, Ross Benson.
Hey, we're here for another show. Tally ho, let's do a show. Let's roll.
And making his return to the studio.
Is there a drum roll?
There is a drum roll for this, of course. There we go. Making his return to the studio is Craig Durling.
Hey, everybody. Only because I locked myself out of my underground lair this afternoon.
There we go. Well, it's good to have you in the
Back.
studio.
It's good to be back.
I like the picture that's behind you, too.
There's no picture behind me this time. Sorry. If people out there, if you prefer the picture, if you're watching the YouTube version of this, you can send me back to my bunker and we'll have a background picture, a different one every time. But you let us know.
I can always chroma key into the black background there.
I could do the weather, too.
Oh, that's
I
true.
could do the weather. The occluded front, Arctic Zephyr coming in from
Do a caramel.
Oahu.
Yeah, with the
I love caramel.
caramel.
On vanilla ice cream.
No, a caramel.
No, I thought that was salted caramel.
Oh, caramel?
Caramel?
Caramel by the sea?
Yeah.
You don't know what the caramel is, huh?
Oh, he's not that old.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, the
Thank
caramel
you.
was on Let's Make a Deal,
Yeah.
and she used to always wave her hand at all the prizes. So people after came to call it the
Well,
caramel.
Vanna White's looking for a job now.
Oh, no, she's
No,
okay.
she's sticking out. She's staying there.
Yeah.
But I did not know.
Oh, it's so the Wheel of Fortune continues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and did you hear who's going to host it?
Not Chuck Woolery.
You know,
Two and two.
I went to a taping of the Wheel of Fortune when Chuck Woolery was the host.
My grandmother loved Chuck Woolery.
Yeah, he was the host.
From his Love Connection days. The
'Cause they taped
2 days.
They taped here at NBC.
That's right.
Oh.
That and Hollywood Squares.
I did. I made it to
Peter Marshall.
Wheel of Fortune. I went to Jeopardy. I went to a bunch of them over the years.
Well, here's one for you. Ryan Seacrest is going to do the hosting of that show.
Oh, well,
And
buried the lead here. Okay.
Pat Sajak.
Because he needs more work.
Yeah, I said he doesn't work enough.
Yeah.
And Pat Sajak's daughter is one of the producers, I guess, on the show.
Look at that. Look at that.
Well, let's get back to Burbank here.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Hey.
it was kind of Burbank.
Hello, Burbank. Remember us?
It was filmed here in Burbank, so
Who's walking around with a Hill Street Cafe gift card?
Well,
out
last
there?
week we had a winner, of course. Well, of course we had a winner. We always have a winner, and our winner was Liz Kenny. So, Liz,
Right
you are the
on.
winner, and I do believe she sent in an address.
gee.
So I'm going to be sending out a $25 gift card to Hill Street Cafe to Liz, and we hope you enjoy it. Send us a picture of your order if you'd
Of
like
your
to.
food, yeah, before you eat it, the
Yes.
before picture of your plate. But thanks for listening, and thanks for submitting your answer, too.
And was the answer, am I correct to say artesian?
Artisan.
Artisan. Now, the adjective is artisanal, but the person is an artisan, I believe.
It's an artist in.
Where was I? I thought it was a beer.
This is one rare case where your thought process might actually make sense. It works in this one.
I thought
Yeah.
it had to do with beer. Artesian waters?
No, that's I think Miller beer. It's out of
Well,
the artesian waters of
Yeah.
somewhere.
Isn't that where it came from?
Well,
Well, we'll just.
you guys need to stop drinking that because there's something in that water.
Hey, I don't drink anymore, but then I don't drink any less either.
Ba-dum-bum. Ba-dum-bum. Well, thank you, Liz. Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you, Liz. Well, that gift card's going to get out to you immediately, so we do appreciate it. So that brings us to the week that was, of course. Last week on Tuesday, we recorded a new Ask the Mayor show. And I got to tell you the truth, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get more questions. You know, everybody wants to, you know, I call it the old bitch and moan session, you know, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong. Okay, hey, guess what? You can ask your questions, right? You know, what is the question you want to ask? And we'll just use your first name or no name if you want, and ask a question that you'd want to have answered. And you know what? Not much response. Now, we only gave him a one day to do because we kind of found out at the last second we're going to do the show, but it's just
that was a fantastic show.
It was.
He got to go with FLOTUS, which stands for. I'm so good on these.
First Lady of the United States.
Thank you very much.
I'm
For the
American.
fourth time. And he shared about his experience being in the back of the bus.
Right. We know. Anybody listening to last week's show, we heard all 12 minutes of you guys talking about
Lotus.
the mayor hanging out with Flotus.
But he talked about rent control. He talked about
A lot of things.
the homeless dumping situation. He talked about a lot of things. So,
But here's the important thing. But people not sending in their questions, they don't need to wait until we ask them for questions.
yeah,
For next month's show. We do it every month. You have all month to send in questions, and guess what? You send in a question tomorrow, we don't get to it, can't get to it on the July show, we might get to it on the August show. So send them in anytime you come up with that question, and if it works into one of the shows, we'll use it.
absolutely.
Don't have to wait.
Yeah, that was a great show. Great podcast. Look it up at My Burbank Talks. And
Just
take a listen.
Actually, just on My Burbank on YouTube.
Oh, that too. How do you like that?
Or if you want to listen to the audio version, any of your podcast
Any
outlets,
podcast platform.
I listen to it quite frequently, automatically download.
He's real good on camera and microphone, and he answers those questions rather well. I mean, we talked about the homeless man that got dumped, and he shared about that. He shared about quite a
Allegedly.
few things. Allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
And then him getting to run into Paul Kokorian accidentally, so forth. So take a listen. It's a great podcast.
Well, Wednesday last week, nothing.
Where's them crickets? Them
Unless you're from Boston.
In Boston, we had
If you grew up in Boston, then you know Wednesday is Prince Spaghetti Day.
Prince Spaghetti. Now, is that every Wednesday or is that
Every
just,
Wednesday
Oh,
in the south end or the north end of Boston.
It's kind of like Taco Tuesday here in
It kind of
California.
is, but it's an old commercial we grew up watching, growing up in Boston. And if you look on YouTube, just put in Prince Spaghetti Day, Wednesday, Prince Spaghetti Day, Anthony, Prince Spaghetti, whatever, you'll see the commercial.
Is Prince a
pasta brand.
Oh, it's a brand, so it's
Yeah.
not okay. So
Prince Spaghetti.
okay, so it's not like a restaurant
Yep.
called Prince, like Dunkin' Donuts or one of your Boston little things.
Not that I know of. I don't think they had a brick and mortar thing. I just know that they were a local brand of pastas, and they had that commercial.
But when you say that Wednesday, it was pretty quiet in town. I know the mayor.
Well, it's summertime, I think.
Exactly. And I know the city manager was off last week. I think our mayor it whispered to us that he was going to go improve his tan lines or something. People can ask him about that. So, but the week goes on.
Yeah.
We won't send a crack reporter out to that one.
Thursday we had a ribbon cutting, Ross, that you went to. So why don't you tell us about the ribbon cutting at the Forward Fighting Club?
Well, this is, if you've been around Burbank, ever driven down Glen Oaks, this was the old 7-Eleven on the west side of the street, Cypress and Glen Oaks. There's a little shopping center there with.
That 7-Eleven's gone now, huh?
Well, it's across the street. It's on the east side now. Yeah, Greg Varon used to own that property, and he raised their rent, so they moved across the street. They've been on the east side for a while. But it's, the Forward Fighting Club, and I will tell you, there had to be over 100 kids.
I
This ribbon
I
cutting.
thought Greg Barron was no longer with us.
He isn't, but he owned the property.
So how do you raise the rent?
Oh, no. Back when he was alive, he did. It was something else. You know how many openings I've done there? For the chamber, I think I've been there 4 or 5 times. So I hope this place makes it.
And I suggested in our pre-production meeting that we need to start covering the closings of these places. We cover all the openings.
Yeah,
we need to start covering the closings.
Yeah, who closed this week?
Well, so if you drive by and you see what do you call that?
So what we do is we cut the ribbon on a so we put a new ribbon up when it closes.
Stitch it back together.
Yeah, we just put another ribbon
It's a
up and
stitching.
say,
Well, this one has the balloon, arch in front of the front doors. We'll see if they're open as long as the arch stays. But they have a boxing ring in there, and there were tons of kids, and they had a lot of people. The food was, all I could say is oy vey.
And by my joke, I don't want to give the idea that I'm foreshadowing Forward Fighting Club to not succeed. I wish them all the success in the world.
If all those kids, but if you think about it, during the summer, maybe that's why at the ribbon cutting there were 50 kids lined up. So we went inside, and the guy has some real boxing gloves, and he's gotten some golden. What do they call them in boxing? When you win,
you're bringing it up. I don't know.
This is your
belt.
ribbon cutting.
Don't you get a golden belt?
Yeah, a championship belt.
And he has them on display there.
And real boxing gloves, not fake ones, huh?
Right.
So they use real boxing gloves there.
I guess so, because
Wow. It's real boxing.
I guess so.
The mayor wasn't there, so I had Pamela try one on, and her and Jamie Keiser were doing a couple of rounds, so we'll see. But yeah, that was last Thursday, and then it was getting to be a hot day. Right afterwards, there was a fire.
Really hot.
Right up the block. And for me to miss a fire, that's pretty unusual. But I saw the fire trucks. I heard them. I didn't know.
And you were already awake for this one.
You know what? A fire engine drove by, and I said, wait a minute, they're going the wrong way. It was engine 16. Where are they going that way? So I looked, and fire at 7th and Magnolia, 4-port carport. So we got up there, and the story was on myburbank.com. Ashley Erickson wrote a little story, did a little video on it.
Was this the day there were two?
Yes.
Two different fires?
Yes. And good old, your buddy John?
Your buddy John.
John Orr?
No.
Oh, was never my buddy.
The battalion chief.
Owings.
John Owings.
Owings. How you doing, John?
Well, it was funny because he was out there and he had just gotten back like 2 hours earlier from a strike team for 4 days.
Oh,
so
geez.
no sleep for 4 days, and then you get 2 fires.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
That brings me. We're off topic here, but I think it's something that I'd like to explain to people. He was Burbank sent out a task force for one of the recent brush fires, and they're gone for several days. And when they, of course, they don't do it for free. They get paid to do this. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, your firefighters are making $500,000. You overpay them. And let me tell you, you're not getting. The city of Burbank is number one, not paying them when they go on a strike team. The state of California is. And the state of California doesn't sit there when they leave and say, oh, here's a check for you and a check for you and a check for you. They send the money owed to these people to the city of Burbank, which then pays them the money that is forwarded to them. So when you see the money that some of these firefighters are making, it's not because we're overpaying firefighters. It's because they're spending sometimes 2, 3, 4, after a week fighting these brush fires. And they're getting, they're paid for doing it. And there are certain firefighters who always will volunteer for the task forces. So
and they're not staying in hotels or anything.
No, they're not.
They're sleeping in their rigs in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they're probably laying on the ground or in a rig or something. And
well, you remember a couple of years ago, one of the other publications went and went online. There's some web page that you can look at everybody's salary, and like the top 2 people in Burbank, one of them was a battalion chief. And he happened to be away for 3 months, 3 months away from his family, up on like 4 different teams. He went from one to the other. And I said to the battalion chief the other day, John Owens, I said, so this is the first you're only gone for a week? He said, yeah, my team hasn't been called yet. If he gets called, he's right up there in the command staff. He's gone for 2 or 3
because every
months.
task force has to have a battalion chief with them.
Right. Well, a strike team, which is usually 5 engines and a battalion chief, they go as a group with a battalion chief in charge of everybody. But Ross, because you touched on it, usually comes around contract time, is the cities will publish salaries of the highest paid public safety people, city
Well, it's on
employees, and all
Transparent
that.
California.
It is, but what they hope that people take from that, it's an inflated number, right? It's not what the person's taken home.
Right.
It includes health benefit pay, all kinds of, long-term disability and into, state retirements, things like that. So it's every penny that the city has to, regardless of what, their paycheck says, the city has to put into the system for them, right? It is nowhere near what that person's taken home, typically, if they're publishing those numbers, just so you know.
And we've been very fortunate here in Burbank. We haven't had huge brush fires that requires, because other agencies have come to Burbank. When the Burbank Mountains burned down many years ago, I saw agencies from up north, down south. It's the same thing. They come to our aid, and that's what the mutual aid system is. It's a great setup system.
And Burbank paid for those firefighters.
Yep.
So, we paid into the kitty. They figure out how many firefighters or how much time and what part of the cities. And anyhow, I just want to bring that up because I keep hearing that from people who are ignorant and don't want to understand what the real story is.
Well, and you can explain it till you're blue in the face, but you said it. They don't want to understand.
Right.
So it's not going to matter if it doesn't
but to the
fit their
general person in
argument.
the public right now, at least they hear this explanation. So
Yeah.
when somebody does say it, they'll say, yeah, maybe that guy it has a personal agenda with somebody.
Yeah, the brush, specifically when they're working on brush fires and stuff, it's coming out of federal funds, state funds, all that's set aside to fund the fighting of these brush fires.
And now these fires, it's a science. I mean,
it is
for the wind, the topography, guys on the line, the prisoners that are working the lines, the air tankers, these helicopters. It's just they're trying to hit it fast, hit it hard, and that's the way to work these fires now. So it's neat. Over the years, we've been watching this 30, 40 years, and the technology is changing quite rapidly.
As we've come to learn, and brush fire is year round, or brush season is now year round in the city. But on a somber note, we lost a long-time favorite Burbank police officer recently. Ross, you want to?
Yeah, I found out that the longtime Burbank police officer Tom Pusl passed away last week.
What a great guy he was too.
Oh,
always a friendly guy.
I think everybody knew Tom.
Big burly guy.
Big guy.
Pussycat.
Yeah, he apparently, as I understand, went to St. Finbar. I can't picture him as a little kid at St. Finbar. Then he went out. He graduated from St. Robert Bellarmine. He worked for the Parks Department.
I mean, Bell Jeff.
Right.
Bellarmine's
right. The elementary school. I'm sorry. They're across the street from each other.
Right.
You can tell I don't go to that parish.
The former Bell Jeff.
Right.
And you're the only person in this room that could have corrected him right then. Just so you know, for the record.
Yeah, true. So he went on to work for the Burbank Parks Department and then became a police officer. He had done auto theft for years, burglaries. He lost his life to cancer, like I said. We will have the obit in myburbank.com with more information. Instead of lieu of flowers, the family wants some of the money to go to the Matt Pravelka Scholarship Fund.
That's nice.
That's nice.
In memory of him. So that'll be nice. And we'll have that obit. And when the memorial is going to be in August at Valley Funeral Home. So it was, as soon as I heard that, I've been on thousands of calls with Tom, and he was just a great guy.
Yeah, and years ago when I was a Burbank Reserve, I worked with Tommy. Never in the same car with him.
I don't
but
think
I
you
remember.
guys
I don't know. Both of us could go shoulder to shoulder in a Crown Vic. But I remember Tommy, nicest, sweetest guy in the world, but had hands the size of hubcaps, huge hands. I'd never want to take a swat from one of those. But what a nice guy. He'll be missed.
Yeah, when you go over the 6-foot wall and you're already 6'4", it was like one leg over.
He didn't go over the wall. The wall went under him.
I actually could go through the wall.
Yeah.
Or just go through or around the wall.
And everybody that I talked to the last couple of days have the same thoughts of Tommy Pusl. He just was that.
I can't imagine anybody having anything bad to say.
Yeah.
We're talking the other day about all these officers that we've kind of lost or retired in the last 5 to 10 years. These are all the guys that were really, they always took care of us in the field. They're always nice to us. They're always, considerate of us. They knew who we were.
They were pros.
Yeah. And we don't really have that anymore. Now it's all become generic and vanilla, and it's too bad.
It's a different generation too. It's a different generation of people doing that job. But, listeners out there of the podcast that have spent a lot of time or grew up in Burbank.
Oh,
a lot of people know Tommy or cross paths with Tommy over the years, him helping you out or something like that. He was around for a long time.
Yeah, well, it was obituary on the website, and so take a look at it, and please make a donation to something in his name.
Yeah, it'll
all be on there.
Yep, we'll have the obit up within the next day or so.
And then on Thursday last week, the only other thing that really happened, we had our first announced school board candidate for us. Annie Markarian, who announced her candidacy for the Burbank Board of Education Trustee Area 5. Now, if you want to know what Trustee Area 5 is, good luck. Because you know what? I went to the school district's website because, they've decided that they caved into the threat of districts right away, and they went to districts for their next election. So I go, okay, fine. Let me see where District 5 is. And
now, wait, I'm just curious. Did it require your Thomas Brothers guide to find it?
No.
Had to dust off the old Thomas guide, huh?
The funny part is, though, I go to the website. There's no districts on there. They didn't even put the districts on their own website.
Because they don't even understand.
Well, it's as Ross would say many years ago. It's hide the weenie. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike Nolan would say.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, Mike Nolan would say.
Oh, that was adjudicated.
Yes,
that's been adjudicated.
Well, that's true. But the point is, so you change the election system, and then you put nothing on your website about it, about where the districts are or anything. There's no maps, anything. The only thing I could find was the meeting where they talked about one of the maps they was calling Map 104, which if they did adopt it, then that would be the map, but it doesn't say it was adopted. It just says up for adoption. So,
well, you know what? That brings me back. I won't go down the rabbit hole too far, Craig Durling. But if I ever told you,
I'm already confused.
Yeah, Craig Sherwood, or was it you that we were responding to a call once, and I threw you the Thomas Brothers guide? It was you, Craig Sherwood, and I threw him in the Thomas Brothers guide, and I said it's 56D3.
We're going to a brush fire,
and I threw him the Thomas Brothers guide, and he's looking. Well, we were going at night. I had a red lens in my interior light, so it didn't affect my headlights.
Let me go back for a second here. I went in the back and I looked up on the thing what page number it was. Okay?
Yeah, 56D5.
And so I start turning the pages. I said, Ross, you have a defective Thomas. This has no page numbers on it. And I didn't know what.
And I'm driving 100 miles an hour, and I'm going, come on, it's 56 D5. He literally was going D1, D2.
Oh my gosh!
And it turned out, Ross, because at nighttime driving, you don't want to have a white light in your car, so you had a red light on.
Because he used to drive a submarine.
And the all the Thomas page numbers are in red.
They were red.
They were in red.
That's right.
So we got there, we turned the white light on, and I go, oh my. But it was, I said, how did you get a Thomas guy with no page numbers?
Yes.
Wow. Those old Thomas guys used to have all the fire stations marked out on the pages and the districts.
And somebody told me they're around again. Thank God to Google. All you got to do is yell in your phone, "Emma, get me there," and it'll get you there.
Well,
so
good for something.
Well, I'm glad Annie is the first. We'll see how that race turns out and so forth. Moving on, Friday the 21st, you know what? There was nothing going on again. How do you like that?
Another dark day.
Friday? That's weird.
On a Friday, but some of us got to rest. We were getting prepared for the heat that was coming up. So moving along, what happened over the weekend, Craig?
Well, over the weekend, what did happen? Oh, we had...
Turn the page.
Turn the page.
Wait, what page are you on?
We're on 17 of 27 now.
What color ink?
It's red. There are no page numbers.
We had the former Civitan Day.
Former
Civitan Day. This is now called the Civitan Jamboree instead, because we used to have 1 week where we had the boys in Civitan or at Minor, and the second week would be the girls in ponytail softball have their skills contests. But I guess budget cutting and everything else moved it down to just one Saturday now, and so it's combined. The boys and girls.
More
together.
about the everything else than.
Yes, so
they had a lot of kids. I stood out in the middle.
What is Civitan? The experts in the room.
Well, it's a nonprofit organization that the Service Club, City of Burbank. The
Burbank Civitan Club is what it's called.
Right, and for years they used to go over to the Jocelyn Center early and cooking up thousands of kosher hot dogs and buns, and that's what they would do.
I'm not so sure they were kosher.
Well, they told us they were.
Okay.
The buns weren't.
But the last couple of years, most of their members are getting pretty old, and it's kind of hard to hold hot dog buns, when your hands are shaking like they were.
Mustard everywhere.
Exactly. So they they brought in a hot dog truck, and they gave the kids tickets. But that was after the awards ceremony, which was out on the field.
Oh,
they had awards.
You couldn't get them during the day like you used to back in the day.
Yeah, well, after you competed, you did the awards, and then there were bounce houses. They moved all the stuff, competition stuff.
Right.
throwing for accuracy, running, and so forth. And then there were a whole mess of bounce houses. It was a great community event for young kids. And then your team manager would get a ticket for all your kids. And then you'd go out.
Okay. So it's, yeah, they used to give you how many hot dogs you wanted.
Exactly. And I
now
saw
it's, you know.
Gary Brick was out there. He's still a member of Civitan, and they were giving bottles of water out. And
The legit jamboree.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
No, they weren't giving bottles of water out.
Cans, cartons.
no,
Bags.
this was the week that they still could put water out.
Well, they had to get rid of the rest of them.
Right.
Got to give them out somewhere.
Exactly. Can't do that after July 1st, but
Okay.
they did. But it was nice. You know who I saw at the
Who'd you see out there?
Linda Murphy.
She
Now-
did. She was on a podcast once.
She was, and I talked to her about that podcast. She was one of our Olympic stars. She was not only graduated from Burroughs, taught at Burroughs. I remember she was a volleyball coach there. She's world renowned and quite well known. She was there to present the Linda Murphy, one of the awards. They had 4 awards that are real prestigious.
There's an award that's named after her.
That's right.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
And so that'll be in the story as soon
It's
as
a
we
different
get.
Linda Murphy.
No, but
Yeah, it's not named after her.
She was
It's named
also a
after
very
her.
accomplished softball player too.
She was, and we all remember here in Burbank, Barbara Rounds. It was brought to our attention the other day. She played on her first team. Barbara Rounds'
Yes.
first.
Well, if you listen to the podcast, you'll hear all that.
Yeah, that I said to her, have you, that podcast was very interesting. So we hope we're waiting for the results from the city on the kids that ran and did all that. And I must have shot 100 pictures of the parade. So
Well, it sounds like a big photo gallery coming up along with all the results.
And how if somebody wanted to find that podcast that she was on? How might they? How might we direct them to that?
Once again, you go to any podcast platform that you prefer, and you look up "Women in Burbank" with Linda Murphy, and that's an Ashley Erickson podcast. Or you can go to our YouTube page, and you'll see a picture of her on the little thumbnail. It's the same name, "Women in Burbank."
It was one of the women in Burbank.
Burbank,
episodes.
yes.
Excellent.
yeah, it was It was great to see her. She was happy to see me because I've been shooting pictures of her for years. So it was a good. You know what? A great community day for a lot of teams because afterwards they get barbecues. And my kid was on Sandoval Dodgers. We've had a lot of friends that were on the Dodgers team, and they had a big barbecue afterwards, and all their kids were there. So great day.
Right ho.
I'm glad it wasn't too. I'm sure it was warm out there, but
It got toasty.
Yeah, it got hotter as the weekend went on. So, well, that takes us to the end of last week, and that could only mean one thing:
It must be.
time for our commercial.
Enjoying the show right now? Thinking you may want to do your own podcast? Burbank Talks is renting out our podcast studio on an hourly rate. You can do audio podcasts or both audio and video, and even bring in guests to talk with. We will help you get set up on podcast platforms and start a YouTube channel, and we can edit your productions to make you look and sound your very best. If you are interested, please drop us an email at studiorentals@myburbank.com. That's studiorentals@myburbank.com, and we will get back to you. Now, back to our show.
Well, we are back. This is Craig Sherwood, of course, along with Ross Benson
Tally ho, let's go. Let's roll. Let's roll.
and Craig Durling.
Still here. It's a new record.
There we are, all back in the studio.
What are they? Wait. Isn't there the band's all
Got the
in there?
gang back together,
That's it.
or the band back
yeah,
together.
the band
sure.
back.
Yeah.
Was that from
we're-
that group of kids?
We're in a three-piece band, though. I guess we're like Rush.
The Rascals.
The Rascals, and
The
you know
little
what?
Rascals.
There's some more Rat Hole stuff. You know that part of that was filmed in Burbank.
I'm sure a lot of it was.
You remember that little market up
Nope.
at? Come on, yeah, you do.
That little market where?
Wait a minute, I'm thinking Sixth, and what street was that?
You
that
lived
little
up there.
tiny market.
Get the Thomas guide out.
Yes,
and there was the Rascals were filmed there because they run up the block to a house.
the Little Rascals,
Yeah.
You could have been a little rascal.
or a big rascal.
Hey, stuff filmed in Burbank. We're
Lots of stuff.
the media capital of the world.
And we're going to give you a little heads up here. We're actually working on a new rabbit hole show on the history of Warner Brothers,
I bet you there were a lot of rabbits over
and
there.
we're going to have a guest on talking about the
Well,
history.
Bugs Bunny.
So, so look forward to that within the next few weeks. So today. Today is being Monday the 24th. Sustainable Burbank Commission, they met today.
Oh, I bet they did.
And they went over the media district plan update. Why don't these groups all... How many times does people give the update?
They want to make sure everybody...
But they've given it to the city, tell them, hey, watch the city council meeting and you can get the update. I mean...
but they need to feel special and have people come directly present themselves
because they've gone
at their feet.
Yes, I guess so. But they've now gone to like every commission to give this update. So it's like...
It's already time for a new update.
Yeah, it probably is. They also had... They were talking about the sustainable events budget that they asked the city council for. So they've asked the city council for a budget to hold events in the community, which is, I think, not a lot of money. I think it was like $15,000 or something. And because they said that most members were pulling money out of their own pockets and they shouldn't have to do that. And all their subcommittees all reported. And the planning commission meeting today, it was canceled. So we have no planning going on.
I mean, I sat there for an hour.
Yeah.
Now I find out it was canceled.
You had planned for the worst, and the worst happened.
Unbelievable. Right. Another meeting canceled.
Them planning board members, I'll tell you.
Yeah, holy cow.
Wonder if they planned that cancellation.
Well, tomorrow we have a city council meeting.
Oh, boy.
It's the first one in like 3 weeks, isn't it?
2 weeks. Yeah, they take 2 weeks off, and then they have to have 2 a month.
So 3 weeks ago was their last meeting.
Yeah.
That's their first meeting.
Yeah, okay, it'd be 3 weeks ago. Yeah, well, there you go.
Week 1, 2, 3. You could take your mittens off to count the weeks if you want.
Modern math. Who knew?
Unless I'm completely wrong, and I'm sure I'll hear about that in the comments.
Well,
Anywho,
old Mrs. Brady at Stevenson didn't teach me much in the math tables, and
Mrs. Yeah.
Or Mrs. Bacchus.
Ooh, she was tall.
Oh yeah,
Jim Bacchus.
Lois Bacchus.
Any relation to Jim Bacchus?
No.
Mr. Magoo and Thurston Howell III?
Bacchus, not Bacchus.
I had her 2 times.
Oh, well,
I had her in
you guys pronounce things. Who knows?
And 3rd grade. She taught me how to make cream out of milk or milk out of cream. Or
how long did it take you to get out of 3rd grade?
I don't know.
Were you like 15?
No, but I remember peeing in that class by accident.
How do you do that by accident?
Because they wouldn't let me go to the bathroom.
Oh,
so
it's not by accident. Then
doesn't sound like an accident to me.
Good old Stevenson.
Now it's an accident.
Yes.
No, I gotta go.
Let's keep talking. We'll see what Ross the eye color changes.
Next week I'm going to put some running water onto our sound effects.
Babbling brooks, waterfalls.
I will tell you, when I take my diuretics, I go in the kitchen to run water. I can't do anything. If I'm doing dishes, 10 times I'm in the bathroom.
You're thinking about deserts and tumbleweeds and
even that little thing when you get in your car and you hit your windshield wipers. If that thing's, I got to go to the bathroom. It's just.
Well,
can we please digress?
Let's move on to our city council meeting here.
It's just boring. I mean, city council, excuse me.
There's not a lot going on, but here I found this interesting, and you know how I am about our friends at Burbank Bus. But they are going to approve a right of entry and encroachment agreement with Disney Worldwide Services to provide employee shuttle service at the downtown Burbank Metrolink station and at 8 different places along the city's right-of-way, which tells me...
There'll be people on the bus.
No, that Mickey Mouse is back to work.
No, you know what that tells me? Is that Burbank Bus is worthless because they don't want to use Burbank Bus. They want to start doing their own shuttle service. When Burbank Bus started, the whole idea of it was for the entertainment workers. So they had a way of going down to the Metrolink station and all those things. That was the whole purpose behind Burbank Bus. Well, guess what? Disney employees don't want to take Burbank Bus.
Right. I thought what changed there was, yes, you're correct. Burbank Bus was supposed to, but they changed some routes. But when Disney took over a large part of that Grand Central island out there where they have quite a few businesses and buildings, that bus now goes also to the Glendale businesses. And what they're trying to do is the people that come in on the train get on the shuttles instead of the Burbank Bus to go to Glendale.
So once again, one more reason not to have Burbank Bus.
Well,
because now you have
Another possible user base.
Our major studio
gone.
does not want to use it any longer.
Well, they didn't use
Well,
it before,
They
right?
didn't use it
Yeah.
before, so
Yeah, so
now they're collecting some money to use it, I guess.
I found that interesting. And also, let's see, Burbank, the police department, and this is on the consent agenda once again. They're going to enter into a 5-year contract with Axon for their body-worn cameras. Ross, you got any comments on that?
Well, I read in the staff report, I found it rather interesting. Years ago, I remember I think we went through 5 reporters that wanted to do story on body cams. Burbank took many years to get their act together with body cams. And reading the paperwork, it's interesting when an officer pulls either his gun or his taser, the cameras activate in his car within 20 feet or any device within 20 feet if it's not automatically on. I found that really interesting. But
I look more into that, though. I mean, you're saying, I thought they were always on anyway. So
they have a 30-second buffer. I think, Craig, is it when they activate the siren? There's several things that activate the cameras.
Yeah, well, it's different from department to department how their policy, how they program them to function. What
Right.
turns them on, what turns them off. Their policy dictates when they need to be recording, when they cannot be recording.
well, we're talking about the ones in cars that are mounted, or the ones on their bodies.
All of them now are kind of working together. That's what's kind of neat is Axion, with their cloud. And I guess they are in interview rooms at the station now. Again, it's all that Axion is handling all that. And it was kind of neat. It's a 5-year contract. And I remember when they were battling that out, when they were looking at the cameras.
Oh,
But
yeah. So a lot of officers did not want those cameras.
Well, there's a lot of moving
How
parts
officers-
involved.
How many officers has that saved?
Yeah. But also, Craig, as you were going to say, there's both.
Well, most departments go into body cameras kicking and screaming, and they want to wait till the last second. The department I worked for, it took a while to switch to them. But it's a police officers don't typically like cameras around anyway. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but the business of law enforcement isn't always pretty, right? And a lot of things are now public that people never saw. But he gets the business done. But it's like a big brother type thing, and nobody likes a big brother. But with every new technology, you get used to it. You get used to it being around. You behave accordingly, knowing it's there. But as far as, and you have these service contracts with companies like Axon to provide the service, the repair,
Who has
the ongoing
perfected
software,
the body worn
all that. And it
cameras.
sounds basically what you're saying is Burbank uses it kind of globally within
Right.
their department.
Yeah,
has a big
because
footprint.
I didn't look, but I did notice our animal control officers now wear body
Sure,
worn.
basically, any enforcement,
Right.
usually, especially enforcement people, which animal control, parking enforcement, anytime you have people interacting with the public,
Yeah.
especially in an enforcement position, they're going to have them. So you'll see. Maybe again, I'm not sure exactly who's got them in Burbank, but you'll see animal control, you'll see parking enforcement, you'll see police officers, you'll see a lot of people wearing them now. It's security. You go to malls, you go to office complexes, and security guards are wearing them. So they're readily available now.
Well, and it's, if you think about it, prior, pointing the finger, he said, she said, works real good. Burbank had recorders before and used that, but now cameras have saved officers, quite a bit in several scenarios that we've witnessed where they go back and what is on camera is a little different than what was
Right. And that can work both ways.
right.
It keeps everybody in check.
Yep.
It keeps everybody in check. But what a lot of officers, and one of my departments, when we initially went to the car cameras, is we went in kicking and screaming, but soon found out that it got us out of more hot water than it got us into.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, when the city spends, I think the contract was big dollars. It's worth it, every penny of it, and I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
It is, and the public the public demands this now, so they're willing to have agencies and local governments spend.
Well, as an
money to
example,
do it.
we have requested for the footage from the homeless man, and I'm sure when that footage comes out, you're going to see, you will see what really happened, and I think it's going to exonerate the officers, because I'm sure on the body camera you'll be able to hear the guy say, "Let me out here," and that was not on the videotape. That was selectively shown.
Has there been a formal complaint made that these officers did something wrong?
No.
Yes,
Oh, there has
There's been a formal complaint lodged.
Paul Kokorian.
Well, he said something
He
to
said-
the press. Has a personnel complaint?
No, he
been
said
filed?
he's asking the attorney general and the LA city attorney to look into it.
but
And
that's where it's
But they've opened cases. They are
Right, they're all,
looking at it.
yeah. I mean, I didn't watch him file the paperwork himself, but he said that he's asked both of them to look into
Right, because
it.
my point being, not to be argumentative, but when we say things like, it should exonerate the officers, that's implying that they need to be exonerated from
Well, from what he
something.
said, I think.
From what he said. So far as
Yeah.
as far as we know, Kokorian, it's just the allegations made.
Right.
There's an investigation going on, so we're trying to.
And I think everybody wants the truth on it anyway. So, and the department has not been hiding anything. They will share the information once they have their investigation complete and release the results of the investigation. Anyhow, let's move on to one of the things they're going to have a public hearing on, actually, is the proposed community ordinance or outreach plan regarding potential rent cap. Approval of a sole source. They want to have a professional service, a consulting firm. They're going to pay them $145,000 to look into different ways for rent stabilization, rent control, or unjust evictions, and as they start to put together a plan for the future.
Well, they did that. They've done that. They've hired quite a few consultants in our city, and it's kind of funny. But this is one that the council wants it done quickly. They want it done properly, and our public information office has taken it under their watchful eye to hire a consultant. This pivotal strategies to go out and do a community outreach. So we hear people say, the city spends this money here, this money there. $145,000 is not a drop in the, a kick in the bucket, a drop in the bucket, or whatever.
No, but
A hitch in the giddy up.
Yeah,
But we're talking about a major policy for the city of Burbank, and so it needs to be done. It's like the gun ordinance.
Yep,
It needs to be done right.
Yeah, but the watchdogs and a critical eye like mine, you look at a number like this too, and you hope they're just not throwing money at some consultant to give
Right.
them an answer. There's hopefully accounting behind this, and
well, as I said to you during our show when we were going over our show notes a couple years ago, they hired a consultant. I remember which city council member said, "Was this report written by a high school graduate?" Because the consultant didn't do their homework, and Burbank caught it. And a couple council members said, "I want this to go back and be rewritten properly, and then brought
good.
back."
Yeah,
In
for the
Paying
amount of
good
money,
money,
yeah.
good money for this stuff.
fact, it's our current mayor. I remember his words profusely. Yeah, my tooth
Your
is
chiclet loose.
Yeah.
We're also going to get an update about broadband feasibility study about bringing the fiber optic cable to businesses and residences in Burbank. It said that prices should range from $50 to $70 monthly for residential and from $60 to $150 monthly for businesses.
But
But the city would have to take on $106 million in debt to complete the build out. But after the revenues down the line would offset the expenses.
they said that build out close to 20 years. Where are we going to be in 20
that's
years
true.
with broadband?
In all honesty, we use the spectrum here, and I'm paying for the very highest spectrum you can get. They're supposed to be the 1 gig spectrum, which I'm lucky if I get 700 megs. And it's the only game in town.
Well, and what's
Have
the
you-
$50 to $70 monthly for?
Well,
the entire service, all the
Yes.
service, the highest level of service? What is?
Well, no, they're talking about their their T1. It's just one speed.
Okay.
It's a high speed fiber optic line. So-
It's kind of like many years ago when recycled water started getting used. We had a general manager, Ron Davis, who had recycled water brought all over Burbank, up to the golf course, all the public areas, Chandler Bikeway. It's all recycled water. And they had it all put in the purple pipes and so forth. Well, that build out cost quite a bit, but in the long run, well, this is the same study. Things are changing so fast. This
Right.
wouldn't be worth it to the city.
By the time it pays for itself, we're on to a new technology.
Exactly.
Is the point.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, when people wonder, what those council members do up there, I read the staff report on this one too, because I was interested in it. And it was really amazing to see it would cost the city a pretty penny to bring in.
Yeah, our technology in the city's old, though. I mean, Spectrum's lines are so we need faster service. We really do.
I thought it was up to the internet providers to
No,
do the fiber.
Spectrum
and,
has a contract with City of Burbank.
Spectrum and AT&T. The contract I read it. Those are the two companies that are.
Okay, and now
they own the wires.
And now T-Mobile's doing it wirelessly for that reason, so they can still get in there. But the T-Mobile 5G wireless is about $250, I think, at the most. It's not very quick. So,
And most people don't understand if you have like Verizon, they're using Spectrum lines. They don't have their own. And so when you think, oh, I have Verizon service, yeah, but if your Spectrum is
same
slow,
pipes. Same pipes.
Yep.
yeah, when Spectrum goes down, so does your Verizon.
Yeah. So interesting to read that staff report. You wonder what I do all night long, and that's what I do. What about your senior citizen board? Craig, weren't you going to go to that, or was it too early?
Hey? Hey?
Well, it's not till Wednesday either.
Oh,
It'd be really early.
Very early.
Very, very early.
So
Get a good seat, though.
yes, but on Wednesday there is a senior citizens board, and guess what? They
All right.
canceled it.
Eh.
did you make that request?
No, the police commission did.
Oh,
I've got to.
you guys.
I got to rag on them somehow every show.
You guys. You got to get your dig.
The Transportation Commission will meet though at 5 p.m.
Are they going to talk about Burbank Bus?
We're going to talk about the update on safer streets.
For senior citizens?
I'm not sure how the streets are safer or whatever it's going to be, but it's once again, there's a meeting that could be canceled. There's a meeting that's really a worthless meeting. We used to see the only agenda is an update on something. It means that the report's already been provided before to other people, and they could just watch that report somewhere else. You would think the people on the boards and commissions would watch city council meetings.
What do you mean? They're excited when they get the mail that you have a meeting.
Yeah, that's probably true. Anyhow, that will take us on to later that day. Actually, in the morning.
You mean like Wednesday?
Yeah.
10 a.m.
And
That's double digits, so you can go there. You can go. It's double digits.
yeah, my alarm earliest as good as 10 a.m. So I have to get it very quickly then. And
That'd be the earliest you could do it.
what is going on Wednesday morning?
The elephants go marching in. What
Wait a second. Did you say elephants?
That doesn't sound like an elephant. Oh, but that sound.
Oh, what does that
sound
mean?
means only one thing. That is the word of the week.
The word of the week.
The word of the week,
Which, of course, this week is elephant.
as evidenced by that horn that woke everybody up.
Well, I'm just curious. Judy, you are the only one that was in the field for elephants. What sound do they make?
In a big field.
In a big
Yeah.
field? What do they sound like?
I don't know if I want to.
Well, that's
I get spit all over you.
that's not them, huh?
No.
Do they?
No, but the elephant parade's in town. The elephant parade's
Yes,
coming,
the elephant
and you
parade.
can see them all in one place at IKEA. Apparently, they're already there. Are they already kind of
came
there, or was
over-
that just
they
a little
came-
press event or
Oh,
something?
they came over the Verdugo Mountains, and I hear they're moving in.
No, well, they packed their trunks and they moved in.
So
But
the
Elephant Parade Burbank grand arrival at IKEA.
You almost
You
had
can
me
go see
choke
them
on my
all.
water.
And I've seen them, and they're very colorful. They're pretty fun to look at. I thought when I saw the
Sherwood,
picture of
did you
all of them
catch
there.
that line he dropped? They packed their trunks
I
Yes.
figured that went right over everybody's head.
Well, I was wondering where there's a pool of water up there if they're going to go swimming.
Well, there will be one if you hang out up there for a while. But you can see them all in one place before they're distributed to their various temporary residences around town. You can go see them in the IKEA parking lot H, I believe.
Why didn't they put in parking lot E?
It's the upper parking lot H.
Elephant. Yeah, there's an H in elephant.
It could be because maybe that's farther away, and they would actually have some parking places for their customers.
That's true. It's actually H. I think is the first parking lot you come to when you come in off of First or IKEA Way.
So we know who spends his off time at IKEA. It sounds like
No,
is Mr.
I just
Durling.
pay attention to the press releases. This particular one because I put this on the agenda. But the parking lot H and from June 26th to June 28th, from 10 a.m. to noon.
No, actually, that's the arrival on
The
that
arrival is 10 a.m. to noon and
after
available
that-
for public viewing through the 28th at 4 p.m.
until 4 p.m. Yes.
You can go up to IKEA, the parking lot there. You don't have to go into the IKEA if you don't want. You can just go check out the elephants.
What
But that's
about
before they're distributed. But they'll be there. They'll have guest speakers. They'll have a DJ and photo opportunities. So I guess you could take pictures with some of the elephants. And that's before
but what
they're
if you
spread out
want
around the
Swedish
city.
meatballs?
Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs.
I don't know. Maybe they'll be serving those outside. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about the catering.
Yeah, this is
So
true.
maybe you need to go into the IKEA. I don't
What
know.
do elephants eat, Craig?
A lot of grass.
Oh, really?
A lot of grass. They're vegetarians.
Oh.
They're vegetarians.
See what we'll learn?
Right.
But this is a big, like elephant big, event coming through Burbank. It's going to be here for a month. And it's, Visit Burbank has brought it on. The Visitors and Convention Bureau is behind it. It's to bring people to Burbank to check out our elephants. They will be we will publish the map of where they're going to be. I know one of the places is UME Credit Union, one of our great credit unions that advertises with us. They're going to be a home of one of the elephants. I think there's how many of them? 20?
on 24, 26 or
Yeah,
something.
all over Burbank. One at the terminal, at the airport terminal. Now, I don't think you can get an elephant in an airplane unless it's a big airplane.
Hopefully, you don't have to have a boarding pass to go
It's
see it
your
either.
emotional support elephant.
But they'll be all over our city. We'll probably have articles on it, videos on it. We might even have some horse shit on. Elephant poop on it.
What?
There's an old, a great old saying, a favorite of mine, is you never let the guy with the shovel decide how many elephants get to be in the parade. There you go.
Very good. Very good.
What's sad is that I don't think they let elephants go in parades anymore,
Or horses.
things like-
You can do horses.
yeah.
You can apply to horses, but
it's too bad that they don't do
We
that.
remember-
basically it's a saying. It's for like if somebody has a conflict, if like somebody's personally affected by the decision, they need to abstain. They need to stay out of the decision-making process, and it's like you don't let the guy with the shovel decide how many elephants get to be in the parade. He doesn't get to make that decision.
Craig Sherwood and I remember elephants
Dirk Sherwood.
walking down Olive Avenue and along 3rd Street at Burbank on Parade many years ago. And we had ostriches and
All sorts of stuff. And we had men with shovels following all that, too.
that we did.
All righty. Let's move on to Thursday here.
I remember chasing horses down
Well,
Verdugo.
The Infrastructure Oversight Board is going to meet at 6 p.m., but their agenda is still not online. But even if it was,
They're still
it wouldn't.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. And on Friday, I guess it's okay.
Friday the 28th.
Friday we have fire department promotions. Okay, and that's going to be at Woodbury University at 10 in the morning. And there's going to be some retirements too. So some people coming, some people going. Lots of changes going on. Ross, why don't you tell us about all those changes?
Well, I know that a lot of people, when you think of the fire department, you see those guys in the nice shiny red trucks racing down the street, or the paramedics who've come and applied a Band-Aid on you. They're the guys that are out there, but you know what? There are a ton of people, support staff, that makes everything work. What do they say that, and how the sausage is made? Well, to make the guys out in the field look good and everything work, you have secretaries, you have inspectors who go out, or
A lot of people behind the scenes.
and they have a lot of promotions within that group of people that will be getting promoted. We have some new paramedics that have just come back out of paramedic school that are hitting the street. And July is a big change for the Burbank Fire Department, which we'll probably talk about next week. A new rescue ambulance is going to be out for stuff, and a new logistics chief. And
Well, they're going to be busy chasing fireworks around this next
That they
week or
will.
two, too.
I don't think they've already hired. They haven't already hired those people, have they?
yes,
Oh, they have.
oh, these are people that have been working there for quite a few of them. They're
Even though they just got approved in the budget last week.
oh yeah, yep.
Now they're working for pay.
Yes.
Well, we've never had a logistics chief, so they've had to move people around. We've never had an EMS chief. That we've had training, and we've had
So we're short on people. We need to hire more. And they have an academy, don't they? Starting
Well,
real soon.
they've asked for one. They have a couple people that are laterals,
Yeah.
and I believe they're looking at that. Yeah,
And they need to promote people
that's right.
behind all that. And with retirements and those new positions, they need to promote and hire behind that. So a lot of things happen when one person retires or they create a new position of rank.
Yep.
A whole lot of movement
And I will
underneath that.
I will say that once the city council negotiated the new contract with the firefighters, we don't have firefighters transferring to other cities anymore. They're staying in Burbank now, and they're very happy being here.
Well, I know one of the great guys that we've worked with for years, Kenneth Robertson. When I was a firefighter, Warner Brothers Studios, he followed me in the ranks as being a firefighter there. He has gone up. He was a paramedic for many years. He did all the ranks here in Burbank, and his class, there's two of his class of 94, I believe, are retiring.
I mean, from 1994.
1994.
Yeah, not 94 people.
No.
Okay, good point. That's what I was thinking.
But Kenneth has been a line BC, as they call him, battalion chief.
One of the great guys. One of the
He's-
great guys, and very calm. You hear him on the radio; he's very calm always, and
well, this
and
is
anytime you
his-
see him, he's very, very helpful. You know, somebody we're going to miss. Somebody who is what Burbank's all about.
and this is his last week. But seeing the guys last week, I was at that Magnolia Fire, talking to a whole mess of captains that are moving up, and they're looking forward to it. Eric Juden is one going to fill in a spot. We're going to have a new arson investigator. Our fire marshal is moving up to deputy chief. So fire department has a lot of changes this coming week.
Well, it moves us on to the weekend, and we're going to kind of paraphrase this a little, but here's one of those big titles for you. Our community development department is going to host its second walking tour of the downtown Burbank transit-oriented development specific plan area on Saturday morning. It starts at 9 a.m. It's a walking tour. It's going to start right at the old Bed Bath & Beyond, and it's going to go around the town center and Cambridge Park and the whole area. So plan on a lot of walking, plan on wearing good shoes, plan on a lot of water, but you can't use oh no, we're still in June here, so you can still use bottled water still. But if you want to know what's going on with the plan and you want to get involved in it,
And see everything firsthand.
Yep.
What they're talking about.
and talk to the people involved in the community development and also the people that they've hired to help. So,
You know, when you said that I didn't bring it up during the show notes, but you said it's going to start at Bed Bath & Beyond. You know, Tim Conway Jr. told me since Bed Bath & Beyond closed, he's had to see a shrink every week. He used to go in there and just feel the towels and the bed cases, and he loved walking that store.
I just like the way it smelled.
Boy, he doesn't know what to do anymore with himself.
Well, there are other Bed Baths and Beyonds. Bed Bath and Beyonds.
oh,
They're all gone.
Are they all gone?
they're all gone.
Oh, then some haven't taken their signs down yet.
Maybe not, but they are.
But they're empty. They're gone.
They are gone. No
I do
more.
kind of miss it.
But Tim Conway
My
told me
Coupons. I was able to get rid of all the coupons.
I was going to say I have 450 of those
You could
coupons.
build a
still.
house out of
I
them.
still do too. Yeah, he was bummed when he heard they're closing the Burbank store down. His wife called the therapist and said, Tim's going to come see you every week now because I can't handle it. You know, we're not going to have new pillows every week.
It's interesting. I don't know where retail's going in our world because that's been gone for a couple of years now, and nobody's wanted to move into it. In fact, but Sears very quietly came back into existence there.
Well, but if you notice, they did that Disney show.
Right, they just ran the building out.
They have that
rented it
auction.
out.
Yeah, they ran the building out. Right.
But I will say this about retail and going away and brick and mortars and stuff is I have a project going on at home, and I needed some pieces and parts and thingamajigs. And I thought I could order this all, and I already had them all bookmarked on Amazon, right? Everything I needed, boom, 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 on the wish list. I said, you know what? I'm going to give brick and mortars, my local hardware stores and things like that, a try here. I spent 2 days going to Home Depots, Lowe's, DIY centers, hardware stores, all these places. None of them had anything I needed. I go to one, I need a certain size part. The one hook that was empty was the size I needed. I mean, and I gave it a solid try. I gave this a solid try. I gave a lot of the different stores and stuff a chance. Ended up going home after 2 days of this and getting everything in one click on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow.
You know what I find actually is if the mom and pop stores, I do try to use, do business with mom and pop stores, especially in Magnolia Park and places, but the corporate stores, like you said, you wonder, do they really care about the customer? You really wonder if they've lost touch.
Well, it's like the box stores, like they're making all their money online.
Yeah.
With online orders.
Well, that's true.
But remember what happened with like Best Buy. Best Buy is still open. God love them for still being alive and kicking. But what do a lot of people do? They find something on Amazon, so they go to Best Buy, a camera or a computer or something, to check it out, hold it, and play with it, take a picture of it, and then they go home and order it online.
Yep, touchy-feely. And then
some stores will kick you out if they see you doing that.
You're right. They do. It's funny. The do-it-self center used to be Lumber City, and I worked there out of high school. Learned a ton about hardware and all that stuff. But you know what's kind of neat? You can go in the Burbank do-it-yourself center, besides petting the cats.
The cat was sleeping on a pile of boxes.
Always,
I still like. I specifically
cats.
love going to that store. I'll still give them a shot and go there.
Where else can you find a monkey wrench?
An actual monkey holding a wrench.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got tons of drawers.
Petting zoo in there.
Tons of drawers that you can go through.
I went through a few dozen of them. But I still like that store. It's not a knock on that store, but it's just especially more a knock against the larger stores. But
the best thing about that store for me, I can be in that store for an hour and I can go to the bathroom 10 times. Nobody will say, "Can we help you?"
So can the cat. By the way, they'd like you to not use the cat's box.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
you could go to the humans restroom.
Well, one last thing on the agenda for the weekend, and that's our Burbank Historical Society. They're having their membership appreciation luncheon at 1:00 to 4:00 at the Historical Society, which is on just off of Clark, right near the Betsy Lutke Art Center and the former little theater that's there.
But according to this, had RSVP by today.
But you know what? Yes, I saw that on the invitation that we got. But I can promise you,
I'll take you.
The three of us know Don Baldessaroni so well. If you get a hold of Don,
you tell Don Baldessaroni that we told you.
He'll be glad to accept.
Tell him that we told you.
Yes.
Because you know what I saw? Hot dogs, tri-tip, coleslaw, potato salad. They got desserts, they got cookies, they got candies and popcorn.
The Bob Baker Marinette's going to be there.
That's right.
And I'm betting it's a member appreciation luncheon, but I'm betting you can go there, join
$20
and have some lunch.
$20, you get a year's membership.
And a lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Bob Baker Marinette show.
It's pretty much every event I've gone to there. If you're not a member already, guess what?
You become a member.
Your donation becomes your membership.
Well, Don Baldessaroni is very popular with the chamber. He's one of the ambassadors. He's at every ribbon cutting I'm at. And he reminded me the other day, and I said, Bob? Well, not Bob.
You forgot what you reminded him of.
Well, it's funny because I have Bob Green at one end of the ribbon, Don Baldessaroni at the other.
The other one's easier to say.
And I told Don that we'll say it on tonight's podcast, and you might get some new members out of it.
Well, you know what? Even if you don't want to go there for the food, you should just go there sometime and tour the museum.
You got to check it out.
It's the history of Burbank. People love our little rabbit hole things and shows, but you can go see it live right there.
You would be surprised. We talked about that place several times. We've done events there. We've done podcasts there.
Yeah, great people.
But you'd never know driving down the street past it, you'd never think that the place was that big, had that much going on in there.
And
It's
most
really
people
worth a stop.
don't even know there's a second floor.
Well, most
didn't.
people don't know there's even a building. They think that it's that house.
That little house.
That house is,
Yeah,
is the
It's
historical.
that little house.
That house is just.
But check it out. Go,
nothing.
if for no other reason, get the lunch. But walk around there, and it's good time, worth a visit.
Well, we've come to that part of the show again.
Boy,
Time to turn on the furnace because all we have left is one thing and one thing only, and of course that is going to be
Ross's rant. Ross's rant. Ross's rant.
I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Me. What's up, Doc?
Oh boy,
what is up, Doc?
it's time for my rant.
Apparently,
And look at that. I have for this week, I only wrote down a dozen, but I'll only do one or two and I'll save them. How's that for you? You know, one of the ones that I think I said it last week. If you live near Sun Valley, up on the hill where I do, it sounds like the Star Spangled Banner every night. I mean, bombs bursting in air. There is so much fireworks going on. And I got a relative that lives over toward the North Hollywood border of Burbank. And they're wondering, is there a sale on shotguns or something? Or no, these kids go out and buy these fireworks, which are all illegal, and they're firing them off, and it's,
or their parents buy them for them.
yes, exactly. So I, again, what you're hearing, I can almost guarantee if it's after darkness, you go outside and look up, you'll see some fireworks. With the temperature as hot, man, it's hot in here. Hydrate. If I say hydrate because I was a victim of dehydration a couple weeks ago. It can come on real quick. I was experiencing some real bad headaches the other day. Couldn't figure out what it was. I got rather panicked, thinking it was in the same spot. Back of my head, it was just like an ice pick. After talking to my doctor, I take 3 diuretics, and he said, "We better cut you down on your diuretics. You're losing too much water. If you're taking medication, check the warning on it. It might say that part of it, make sure you're well hydrated."
And worth noting that dehydration can manifest itself in many, many ways.
Oh, yes.
It's not just being thirsty. By the time, like they say, by the time you're thirsty, it's too late.
Too late.
But you can get dizziness. The walls can close in. You could have different pains, things like that. So,
Well, the night I was with you guys, the lights got very, very bright, and I don't remember getting wheeled out.
that's why we were telling you, go to the light, Ross. Go to the light.
But that brings up another thing. It is hotter than heck out. If you have a pet, don't put them in your car. Don't take them out of your house. The asphalt is hundreds of degrees to their poor paws. They get in a car. You go somewhere. You think, oh, I have the air conditioning running. You know what? Leave your dog at home.
And when it's 100 degrees out, the pavement is 200 degrees. So I'm starting to see pictures coming across my feed now of dogs with bandages on their paws and, burning their paws. So understand that. Well, keep your dog at home.
Yeah.
Keep your dog at home. If you put them on pavement, put little shoeies on them
Well,
or
they
something
make
like
shoes
that.
for
but-
dogs. And
They do.
I only have one or two more. The big one is Craig and I, we all three listen to the fire radios. Every city has gone on responses for hikers that have either twisted their ankle or get dehydrated up on the hiking trails. You know what? A couple of things. If you're going hiking these days, bring an extra bottle of water. 2, bring a cell phone that is fully charged. Your cell phone, if it has GPS in it and you go down, and that right there, you should never hike alone. Go with somebody.
Or let
if-
somebody know you're going.
yeah.
Yeah.
And where you are, where you're parked.
And that used to be something that was Stow Canyon or whatever. You'd go to the little building there and you'd sign in.
Oh, I don't think they have you sign in anymore because it's usually closed. But
No.
you
Used to be a process where you could sign in so they know who was out there hiking.
But we listen to the fire department, and if they got to send a helicopter for you, your phone has GPS locator on it, and they can find out exactly where you are. So go with a charged phone. Use drinks that have electrolytes in them, not just plain water. And the last one, well, 2 really. If you have elderly neighbors, right now some of them are not running their air conditioner because they need to save the money because the electrical rates are going up right now. Everything right now. If you have elderly neighbors, go knock on the door. Find out if they're okay. If their mail or the newspaper's still there, they get one delivered. Check on your neighbor, because we've already heard a couple of responses. People in this heat expire, literally. And the last one is Burbank offers alerts from the city. They put it out several today. It's, if I'm right, www.readyburbank.org. If there's evacuations, if there is power outages, if there are incidents that the police or fire department wants you to know about, they put them out via email. Just a great source for you to put in your smartphone and so forth. They might be called rants, but there are things that I thought of this week that just will help everybody.
Good pointers in there too. Doesn't have to be negative.
Exactly.
Got some good points, very good points in there.
Exactly. So for me, that'll do it in the rant world.
Okay.
Good one. Good batch. I even snuck one in before that though, about the hardware stores.
That's all
Looking
right.
water. A little
That's
bit
all right.
Bit of a rant.
You know what? I didn't get those notices today. What notices did they send out today?
Probably didn't look at the email after 3. This PIO's office put out about.
Oh, I thought you said they sent out several notices today.
For people to sign on.
Oh, to sign on. Okay, I'm going. I didn't see any of those notices.
Because you were signed on.
Well, it should go on my phone.
Well, like I said, the city really was pushing that. The fire department is.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
And the hiking one too is go prepared so you don't become part of the problem.
Yes.
And it's snake season. Don't go out there running in tennis shorts, and then go climb up the mountain. And when you see a rattlesnake, think you're dressed for it.
That's true.
Dress appropriately.
Yes. Dress with a lot of heavy clothing on a hot day when you go hiking.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see our trails closed the next day.
I would say, why don't we just not go hiking for a few, we have too many great days in Southern California. You don't have to pick the hottest day to go or the coldest day.
And remember, anytime somebody has to come help you out of a situation, they're putting themselves at risk. So again, don't become part of the problem.
Yeah, and I don't think that helicopter ride's free.
No.
I don't think anything's free anymore with the paramedics, which we are going to be looking into.
That's right, because then people they think, oh, I'll just go for a hike. I do it every week, and it's a little different out there when you're drenched.
Well,
and remember, if you're feeling okay for the first hour, you have to go back. And that's when a lot of people go down and start having their problems when they finally get to a point in the hike when they're like, oh, I feel dehydrated, I'm getting dizzy. Well, you should have turned around half an hour ago.
And
you still have to get back.
Don't be cocky and go, I can handle it, because there's a sheriff's deputy who was in Greece and an experienced hiker and in great shape, and they can't find him.
Right.
So, I mean.
And we hear the responses all the time.
Yeah.
We listen to County Fire. We listen to Burbank Fire, and they're out there. We hear them go up, and if they have to, they'll come save you, but it's not a fun trip.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for another show.
Wow.
I think
the week that was, the week that will be, the week that was, and wasn't whatever.
Okay.
His meds are wearing off.
I guess
this is the time of the show. His meds are wearing off.
Dehydration setting a little bit there.
You know how many bottles I've gone through today, if you noticed?
Anyhow, well, for Craig Durling and for Ross Benson.
As they say, tally ho, let's go. It was a great show. We'll see you guys next week.
There we go. Well, this is Craig Sherwood saying thank you for listening or watching, and we will see you next week.
My Burbank Talks would like to thank all of My Burbank's advertisers for their continued support. Burbank Water and Power, Cusimano Real Estate Group, UME Credit Union, Burbank Chamber of Commerce, Gain Credit Union, Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, Community Chevrolet, Media City Credit Union, UCLA Health, Tequila's Burbank, Logix Credit Union, Hill Street Café, Bertain Escobar Wealth Management, and the UPS Store on 3rd Street.